Good. So Hector, I'll just
Yeah.
turn over you. You know, we're almost 15 minutes in. You're going to be
Mhm.
talking about CRMs today, customer relations management systems, what it is, what it isn't, how it works for us, how we should be using this thing. And I love this subject because I was one of those guys for years and years. I didn't think I needed one. I didn't think I needed a CRM. And I think I'm going to be the guy learning the most today on the call. So you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome, everybody. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to come meet with us. For those of you that have been regularly meeting with us throughout the summer, every Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, you can join us here. We're taking entrepreneurs and business leaders to the next level. So, today, as Alan pointed out, our topic is around CRM and their principles, right? We want to make sure that we understand what a CRM first and foremost is and how does it drive business growth. So one of the biggest misconceptions to start off is that most people hear CRM and they automatically think software, like not just another software tool like Salesforce, HubSpot, or Zoho, or whatever. And that's where they place their minds, that's where they place their thoughts. But the truth is, the CRM isn't just a software. It's really a mindset. Now, I was one of those individuals many, many years ago, leading large departments in large businesses where I didn't care about the CRM. I thought it was a useless tool. However, when my mindset changed and shifted, it allowed me to think of CRM as a simple but effective relationship building tool where I could see that relationships were more important before transactions. So if you really implement it as a way to treat your customers not like data points and not like short-term sales, but you actually treat them like people and you start to build long-term loyalty through it. So the first point around a CRM is mindset. So whatever thought you have of a CRM that is tailored around software or tool, shelf that for a little bit and let's open up to the fact that this could be a super exciting tool that will help build great long-standing relationships for your business. So, Willie, I'll go to you when it comes to mindset because I think you were one of the ones that taught me the value of the CRM at Willie's. So, share with us what made that important for you first off.
Can you hear me okay? My
Yeah,
service keeps cutting here.
no, we
Yeah,
can hear you.
awesome. Okay, well, welcome everyone, and it's great on this call with all of you. And yeah, with the CRM program, I think goes back probably 10, 12 years where I really looked at how to build better relationships with our customers and how I wanted to have something that informed them or kept them more informed about what we're doing. And so with that, we implemented a tool, like Hector was saying, but then the next step comes is really figuring out what that journey with each customer should look like. And so I think that's the piece that you're kind of talking about, Hector, right?
That's right. And so think about the value that it added for you and for your business when it once implemented, right? Like from a scale of 1 to 10, how much more value did the implementation bring to your organization, Willie?
Sorry, I my end it's cutting out. I could not get half of what you just said.
Yeah, no, I was just asking you from a scale of 1 to 10, what's the value that it brought to your organization?
Sorry, I'll just quickly switch to a different network
That's okay.
here.
We'll move on. I know you're having internet issues. All good. We'll move into the core principles of the CRM. So we're talking about 5 core principles, and I want everybody to write these down because these are critical points for you to leverage and learn from down the road. So the first point is customer mindset, right? So shift your perspective from what you can sell to how you can serve. It is critical that as a business owner and or business manager, division manager, we think of servant leadership, servant delivering to our customers. And why is that? Why is that important? Because the customer's experience should really guide your processes, your scorecards, your KPIs, everything we've been talking about, the culture around your business. For the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've talked about team building. We talked about data points. We talked about how to structure your vision. All of that should come from that servant perspective and understanding that without serving, you add little to no value to those other organizations. So that's your first data point, the first one that you want to really understand as a core principle. The second one is understanding the data-driven decisions. So the CRM will allow you to capture buying patterns, preferences, behaviors, all of that stuff. But the golden rule here is you can't manage what you can't measure. So use the data to personalize it, not to spam. This is so important because as you scale your business, you could just say, well, I'm going to send this promotion. I'm going to send all this, but it doesn't have or may be missing a personalized touch. Make it specific to that organization, to that business manager, to that owner's name, all those things that the CRM allows you to do. While you get to see the data behind the scenes, allow it to be a valuable tool for you to build those relationships. As an example, as a data point that might be useful, the birthday of the owner of that business that you've been servicing for X amount of years. Every time it's a birthday, your organization through a CRM can send a happy birthday note. Something as simple as that. So point number 2 from a principal perspective, use data to drive decisions. The third point is integration across all teams. This is where it really starts to stick in an organization. Now, we've heard everybody talk through and describe the size of the organizations. We have 35 million at the very top to, a couple employees at the very bottom. So we've got a wide range, right? But what's similar, regardless of size, is that you're going to have functions: sales, operations, marketing, HR. The functions are all there. Whether you're a one-person organization or 100, you have to wear many hats, but you're going to have those. Now, the CRM isn't just a sales tool, and it isn't just a marketing tool. So I want to make sure that that's really clear as a core competency and core principle. Operations should know what sales is doing. So don't leave them in the dark, because it's important that those functions work together. As similarly as sales should not go and promote or communicate promises that the other functions aren't aware of. So the CRM is that all-inclusive tool that captures that information. What becomes really interesting for me, and that I've seen this with the lack of CRM systems and the lack of integration in some organizations, is where all this, the customer info is housed under one person. Generally, the sales manager, the sales director, they have it all in their head, but no one else knows anything about it. And that is where we miss things as an organization. You might know a preference. That salesperson might know a preference of what each organization or customer expects, while operations doesn't know it. As an example, in the trucking business, we had some customers at Willy's where they wanted deliveries by 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And if the operations team didn't know that, because it was promised to them by the sales team, well, we would never deliver at that, and therefore we would fail. So having it in the CRM tool that communicates that across all functions allows for streamlined integration. So I wanted to make sure that the key there is that the CRM becomes the one source of truth, the one source touch point. So really important for us to walk away understanding that. The fourth one comes through automation. And this is awesome. This is where it buys you back your time as a business owner and as a business unit leader. However, don't forget the human touch. This is where it's important too. You want to include, yes, automation reminders are so good. Follow-ups are good. Email sequences are good. But don't forget the human side. Don't forget that point, because that's where you will make the difference in that touch point, letting them know these aren't just machines. We're building trust through relationships. We are people that are interacting in business, and we're helping each other grow. And that is where you could get really lost if you just simply use it for automation and you forget those touch points. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So point number 5 is about life cycle thinking, right? The CRM isn't about closing deals. It isn't about just that turn, that sale, that quick data point. It's about nurturing relationships. Think of this from first contact to becoming the customer into a loyal advocate or a loyal, business partner who refers others. That's like the ultimate, right? You get them in the door, they start to use your product or service, then they stay a long time, but then they start to refer and help you grow. Like that's the progression of how you get that nurturing cycle. But in order to do that, you leveraged the technology tool of the CRM to help build on all that. So those are the 5 key and core principles that a CRM can bring to your organization. Willie, I don't know if your system's back up. Are you good?
Yeah, I think it's working. It's been good.
Okay, awesome. Well, why don't we go back to you so you can share a little bit more in depth about the value that the CRM brought to you and to your organization.
Yeah, that's one thing where I'll back up where we implemented a CRM program, and then from there on, whoever was interacting with customers, it came down to the quoting person to customer service phone call takers to the salespeople on the road. They all were putting the contact information in one program. So that's where it pulled together all the contact information, and it showed us who we are interacting with on a daily basis. And and then also the CRM programs these days, like once you have uploaded all your users in their contact, whatever, even though for an example, Shelly would send an email out and Shelby in the office would send an email out to the same customer. It would show us the communication in one spot. If we clicked on that customer, we could see all the different people interacting with that customer. So I'm just showing you how it pulls it all together into one spot. And yeah, I literally wouldn't know how we would operate without a CRM program as how many customers we had. We had like 20,000 customers or whatever in our database.
Right. Yeah. It was a big, customer pool for sure. I remember the days,
Yeah.
what's interesting though, as we bring it back to the application and some of the challenges that come with CRM implementation is the common mistakes. And here's the ones that I've seen throughout my, almost 20-year experience and 25 years of building teams and businesses. First one is that most entrepreneurs and business leaders treat the CRM as an IT project. And they believe it's just another IT tool. They don't leverage it to its full capacity. They're excited about it at the beginning. They populate it and they leave it. They shelf it.
Mm.
It stays there. It is not used as a business strategy. They missed the mark on that. So important for you to walk away now knowing if I use it as an IT project, I'm not setting it up right. So regardless of Zoho, HubSpot, or whatever other systems you go get and whatever monthly fee you pay, if you don't use it as a business strategy, you're just wasting your money. So make sure that you're aware of that and overcome it by being ahead of that. The second one is overcomplicating things. They start to go big picture and they start to think about, we're going to set up this email reminder and this text and that, and you're going to be accountable for doing this, and simplify it. There's not that need for, it's not that complicated at the beginning. There's not that many workflows that need to be done. All you need to do is understand who's the customer, what are they looking for, what's the service preferences, and what's the frequency of touch points that you like to get to them. And start to really, from there, build on up. But don't build up first. because you're going to waste all that time overcomplicating it, and you're going to lose your people and their interest in the software and tool. So start low, scale up. As you grow the relationship, as you grow the information, you populate it, and that starts to allow you to leverage it as a true tool that it is. And the third one, just the most common three mistakes that I see, is only focusing on the sale, on the number of transactions. How many dollars have they spent? What's the value? What's the activity? What's the activity? Instead of the long-term relationship. How long have they been with us, right? In that length of time, what are the number of touch points that we built with them? Have we met with them in person? Have we invited them out to corporate events to do tours at our facilities? Have we gone to them? How many visits have we done? All those things are just as important as the turn and as the sale. So I wanted to make sure that we touched on those three common mistakes. Willie, I don't know if you've got a common mistake story that you'd like to share when implementing the CRM with us.
Yeah, I think you touched briefly on it, but people always get excited about implementing a new tool, and then as soon as kind of the first part is over, it seems always like now it's supposed to work just by itself, and nobody is more focused on it. And so I had to a lot of times. Okay, we really need to put somebody in charge, and we're gonna make sure all our teams are on here and making sure we're entering the data that we're wanting to track, and then in one way, or this is not a downfall, but I was gonna say, like you touched on IT project. There is a part where I see bigger businesses that they should look at having some good IT on it. Where one example is we connected our CRM program into our billing system, and it pulled out automatically annual information out of the database, exactly how many shipments, how much weight they had shipped with us, and sent our customers an automated email. We had nothing to do with it. It did it all by itself. And those emails, so many times we would get replies back saying, wow, it's a year already again, and I can't believe this is how much freight we got. And so it was just a touch point, and it was always interesting to see the replies coming through that.
And you know what you just touched on there was that long-term business relationship building that it did by creating that frequency of touch point, right? It reminded them it's been another year. We've been in business together. We moved this much freight for you. Hey, we helped your business stay afloat through with a service that we provide, right? So together we grew, and together here we are again. It's another year of celebration, right? But what it showed on both sides, if we really think about learning application of it, is, hey, that company had 100 shipments year one, year three, they're doing, 700 shipments. Because they've grown, we've had to, be ahead of that by adding equipment, adding drivers, adding people, and all of that is something that you can share back with them and then understand, well, what are you forecasting for next year, right? If your patterns have been this, internally in the organization, you could start to use it as that forecasting tool, right? It's a really cool thing once applied and implemented.
Yeah.
So really nice, to hear that story, Willie. That feeds right into the next topic that I want to touch on to wrap the CRM piece, and that's talking about real world examples. Because we have such diverse crowd here today, I wanted to make sure that we understood your business size, because the topic today could be applied for a very small business to very large businesses. So I don't care if you're a one-person show or two people like Peter, to you're a large organization like Mike, where you have 100 plus, employees. And let me give you an example of that, what I mean by that. I have the pleasure of working with many organizations. I own a couple of businesses myself. And one of my smallest businesses that I own, I bought it last year in El Salvador. It's a little laundromat just off of Surf City, off of a tourist community. It's a wash and fold service. And we implemented a CRM system from day one. So we started with 0 customer base, 0. Okay. Today, we have over 175 active customers, and it's revenuing around $3,000 a month. So it's small little outfit, little micro business. However, we have the tool that tells us the information that we need. So we understand the patterns and the frequencies of when a customer comes to drop off their laundry. We know what type of soap they like to use. And what's really cool, when you first come into our laundromat and you bring your laundry, we take your name, your date of birth, and we input all that into the CRM. And the CRM sends you automatic notifications of welcoming you to Surf City Laundromat. It tells you, this is your first of 8 visits. At the 9th one, you will get a free wash on us. And it starts to engage on that relationship building. It also introduces the team and who will be dealing with their clothes. And once ready, it notifies them of the clothes being ready and out for delivery. And it tells them ETA of delivery and the name of the individual that's going to be delivering their laundry. So this is for a small scale little laundromat in Central America. Think about how this could be positioned for your businesses today. So it could be very wide, and now we could hear about it as a large organization, as a trucking company. We could talk about like how you could be used as a forecasting to understanding client business trends. And imagine, for some of you that are on the call that are wholesalers and distributors and builders, that you could call your customer before they actually need it, because you start to recognize their building patterns or their order patterns. And you can say, look, we're at this seasonal point in the year. We know customer X generally orders this. They're going to place that order soon enough. Let's call them in advance and see if their order will be that or if it's going to be more, right? And being ahead of that and say, look, we've got you covered. We see that you're used to ordering this much. We're ready for you. How do we help build that order for the next cycle, right? So that tool becomes a trust building tool versus that sales driven tool. So I wanted to just point out the 2 little versions of how real life examples this could be used. And I know, Willie, you could probably speak more about that larger business example.
Yeah, for us, it was everybody was trained on the first touch point. If we had somebody driving to a business and stopped in just to drop off information, the first thing they had to do when they got back in their vehicle is enter their information into the CRM before they drove off to the next place. And then we had it set up where we had an inside sales role in the office that got a notification right away that would send them in the next 24 hours a follow-up email. Just see if they're interested in some rates or whatever we could offer them. And through that process that we had figured out worked so well, and we got so many customers off of that without even having to have that sales meeting with them. It was the CRM program getting us those sales the way we were running the CRM program.
Yeah, absolutely. So here as we wrap up, today, I want to share and challenge the group to go back this week, audit your touch points. Who and what's the frequency of interactions that are having with your customers? Ask yourself, do we collect the right data, and do our teams share it? Right? Or is this just sales that gets the information? Is ops in the know-how? Is marketing in the know? All of that. And then pick one process to automate. Maybe it's a follow-up email. Maybe it's an appointment reminder. I don't know, but pick one process. So audit your touch point. See if the collection of data is being done at your teams and shared, and then pick a process to automate, right? All of this in closing to share with you that a CRM isn't about technology. Again, it's about trust. It's about getting that relationship off the ground, building it the right way, and that will allow the revenue to follow. So today we've talked about CRM. We've talked about building the tool, sharing the values of the tool and the core principles. the mistakes, and of course, we're going to empower you now to go get it done, right? Go get in action and get shit done. So, like, we're going to open it up to the group and get your questions and get your feedback. So, Alan, I'll pass it back to you.
All right, on. I look forward to hearing what everybody has to say or some of their questions. I'm sure with the differences of sizes of companies and organizations that are with us today, we're going to have probably a good discussion coming forward. So if you're ready, you have a question, you want to ask Hector or Willy or both, just unmute and chime on in. While we're waiting for the first person to chime in, Hector, I want to come back to your 5 core principles. And unfortunately, I failed to write down number 5. So I have 1 as customer mindset, 2 data, 3 integration, 4 automation. Is that right so far? And what is number 5?
You got it. Number 5 is life cycle thinking. So think long term, right? Build that relationship for long-term building and not just the transactional mindset.
Yeah, so good. Good teaching today, as always. So you're always hitting the bullseye. You know, you're not just hitting the target for us, Hector. You're always hitting the bullseye, giving us great stuff that matters. And I love the fact that you gave us an example of how a CRM can be used for such a small, you even called your organization a micro business there in El Salvador. I was actually going to ask, is there a business that's too new or too small to implement a CRM? And I think maybe by that you're kind of saying no, you can get a CRM system in place right out of the gate, brand spanking new, with a business that's maybe 1 person, 2 people. Is that, yeah?
Absolutely. It's going to help you, again, be built for the right processes internally and the right growth trajectory. If you think I'll get that later, you're not going to see the value from day 1. And worst off, you're going to create a culture within your team to where you're building the individual, right? You're going to put all your eggs into Bob over there. Bob's going to know that. Bob's going to be our guy who's going to know all the contacts. But Tom over there isn't going to know it. So
and then you got to fire Bob.
Then you got to fire Bob one day because Bob's being a jerk and all of that information is gone with Bob, right?
Screwed. Yeah.
So put it into the system. Create the tool that will help you grow healthy and for the longevity, right? So as I said, my own experience, I started with 0 customers, purchased this little laundry mat in El Salvador literally a year ago with 0 customers. And now, like I said, we're over 175 active customers. So
I love that.
It's a little micro story of a micro business, but I'm sure many of you who are out there, we've got, again, several individuals here who are leading departments and or, business owners. And so you could understand the challenges that come with, knowing your customer base, understanding their priorities, and who is going to be managing the different size of accounts, right? As you grow to be the size of Mike, and I'm sure we're going to get to him in a minute, you're going to have divisions of commercial, home division. You're going to have, maybe even retail. Like, there's definitely different branches and different customers require different services. So all of that has to be housed somewhere. So it didn't start, I'm sure, that they were this big. They grew to be that big, and not having a CRM probably caused some pain. And I'm sure we'll hear more about Mike, and hopefully they have one. I don't know if they've got a CRM, Mike. We'll come to you soon. But it's important. I've seen this, with some of the organizations that are represented here. I know Erica's team at LBN uses a great CRM tool. And so, yeah, we'll get into it here, Al.
Right on. I love that. And Willy, I have to say, I was so impressed when you gave us your story about how your CRM, just because of an automation, actually brought sales in that the sales guys didn't even have to go and chase. I mean, if that's not the epitome of making CRM worth it, I don't know what is. That's fabulous. So I'm going to ask my last question, and then we're going to go for it. I think Mike has got an itchy finger there.
There you go.
His mute button. But how do you choose the right CRM for you, or how do you know if you need to make a change, if there's certain gaps or functions that aren't included in the one you have? How do you know if you've got the right one for you? How do you go find the right one for you?
Oh, that's such a good question. And I'm going to pass this one over to Willie because this is right up his alley. This is the stuff that
Mm.
I know Willie's excellent at.
Well, yeah, how to know the right one is a good question. I know a few programs, and you mentioned it a few times. Zoho can do a lot of things, and usually, or I shouldn't say usually, that Zoho is a system that can handle a lot of stuff, a very big business, and it's probably a little bit on the high pricey side. And then I have a small company that is using SalesMate. They implemented here a couple months ago, so I'm just learning that tool a little bit. And then there's Go High Level platform. That's the platform we're using now in our optimized business system. And I've found this system it works really good for what we're doing, and it has a lot of different options how to integrate with different things that you're doing. You can build forms in there, sales forms or whatever, send something out and it tracks if any leads come in through it, and yeah, just multiple different things. So yeah, I think every business just kind of needs to look at their business, and what I suggest is do demos with at least three systems before you actually buy one.
Hmm. Yeah, and this is important, for me from a functional and practical, mind, because I go right into implementation mode, right? And so what I will look for is, all right, what's the functionality? How easy can this be applied? Right? What's the implementation stage? Am I going to spend a year trying to implement this CRM, or is it going to be plug and play? So functionality would be number one, ease of implementation and functionality. Number two, ease of application. How easy can I learn it? Can I train others on it? Is it user friendly or is it complicated? Right? Like those are, and how robust is it? Is it simple? Is it like that's number two that I would look at it from an implementation standpoint. And of course, number three's got to be price, right? Like you got to
Mm.
look at it. I'm not going to go spend, $500 to $1,000 a month on a software because it's built for $100 million organization when I could start with the $19.99 plan, to get me going. So right, you got to look at applicability, cost, all those things. That's how I would select it, Al. But that's just my sort of logical mind going to it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I want to get to the rest of of you that are on the call. There's 14 of us on here. It's still a small enough number. I don't think you have to press the little button to put your hand up. Just go ahead and unmute and ask your question. You've probably got a question, or you've got a story about your CRM or a question about your CRM. We'd love for you to chime in. Hector, Willie will address it. I see Mike, you're unmuted already. You want to jump in?
Yeah, so we currently at our business at Wheeler, we run Service Titan in our service division, which is CRM. It does track a lot of stuff in there, but we do not implement that with our other divisions like our custom homes, production plumbing, and our commercial division. It's strictly just for our service division, but it would be nice to see if we can implement that over and then track our customer base through there. Can you use that, guys? Just a question with CRMs, multiple people through the same companies, like say we talk to 5 people through Graham. Should we, every time we interact or have a sale or have something fall through that, put that person into that CRM and then it'll track all that for us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
It starts to help you understand decision makers within the organization, like in this case, Graham, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, totally. 100%.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And every time you make a repeat, just always put it in the date, time, who we talked to, and start letting that build. I'm going to bring that up and see if we can start bringing this CRMs into those other divisions.
It's critical that you do because you don't know what sales you're leaving on the table, right? Just because you're using it for the service department, imagine all those service calls that all those reps are seeing and field reps that they could at some point have custom homes. They could have commercial that they might need from those individuals too, right? Like Those
Yeah.
people, because they're going to their homes, well, what type of work do they have? Maybe they work at a commercial office where they might need your services, but
Yeah.
you're missing out on that. So to me, that'd be money left on the table.
Yeah,
And,
for sure. Thanks. I feel like it'd be just to have a good catalog, and like you say, if somebody leaves, that contact's gone and not all of us see it. So if that contact is always with us in that catalog, we can always just go through and reach out.
and
So
then
perfect.
just to add, I would add one more step to it where if you have some customer that drop off or you talk to them, think about following up with them maybe in 3 months. And then you put that in the CRM reminder, who's supposed to get the reminder. And so that was our process. Always think about, okay, when is the next time we're gonna connect with them again.
Perfect. No, thank you. That's a great point. Thank you very
So
much, guys.
to Mike, to give you an example of how our CRM works here, last night there was a notification that came through our system that said, "Oh, Mike dropped off the community." The system generated it, and that's why you had Kyle reach out to you today, Willie reach out to you today. Our
No
system
wonder why
works.
I said I dropped out the community. That's weird.
It was a system glitch, but as we found, but that's the power of the CRM tool, right? And so
Yeah.
we've built internal processes that is like, as if someone turns, that's a phone call. Someone's reaching out to that human and finding out what's happening.
Oh, crazy. Perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right
Perfect. Thanks,
on. Well,
guys.
appreciate that. Now, there was another gentleman that unmuted about exactly the same time Mike did, and now you just unmute again. Are you Jake? I can't remember.
Yeah, sorry, I'm Jake. Yeah.
Perfect. Jake, what's your last name, Jake?
Jake Dirksen.
Beautiful. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, and with Horizon Homes. And yeah, I come from the last 30 years I spent at a big corporation, and CRM was a huge part of our day to day, and I know the value of it. And I know that we need to implement something like that at this organization, especially as we look to grow our clientele base. So at the end of the call, maybe we could just get I think you guys listed 2 or 3 options there of different programs, just the names of them. And
Absolutely. We'll share with you what we believe would be the right, what I would say the right ones, the ones that I like. Willie, you have your favorites as well.
well,
Yeah,
I can.
this is something that I was going to even say. Anyone on this call, I'm happy to do a call with anyone and help you figure that out. It's something that I quite enjoy figuring out with other businesses.
Yeah, 100%.
Right on.
Thanks.
Right on. You're right.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for chiming in, Jake, and Willie. Thanks for that, because it was in my mind, and I was going to ask right at the end of the call, but I was going to say, is there an opportunity that maybe someone that's on the call tonight would be able to have a sit down with either yourself or Hector and maybe help us understand what is the best option for us and approach and how to get started or fix some of those gaps. So I do appreciate that, Willie. Then what is the best way after the call tonight that someone would reach out to you or make that happen?
Yeah, they can reach out to my email or I can give my phone number. 780-625-2153 is my direct line.
Or the
Right.
community. Let's get them in the
Yeah.
community.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, let's get you in that community. That is the place. Absolutely right
Yeah.
on. We've got about 10 minutes left. And right smack dab in the middle of my screen is Erica. Erica, I know you're joining us first time. Any first time comments for you today or questions or about maybe the CRM that your company is using or isn't using?
Our CRM is pretty good, actually. It was touch and go in the beginning with the sales people being the predominant ones to use it, but we've found ways to integrate it into the operation side of things now, so way better. But
Are you willing to share what kind of CRM you're using?
we use HubSpot. I think it was the bane of Hector's life when he was there, but we've got it it works pretty well. I mean, I don't think it's the best one you could have. It's very it takes a lot to set it up, but now that it's running, and I'm sure that we're not using it to its full capacity, but it works for what we need it to do right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if those of you that are on the call with us and you're using some kind of CRA system, maybe I shouldn't be even be asking the question, but would you have any cautions for the rest of us that you would, say, hey, you know what, I would caution that, stay away from something that is like this, or that, or have a recommendation even. James Braun, are you folks using a CRM?
Hey, no, we are not. No, I'm trying to gather information but this is definitely something that I think we could really benefit from. No, we don't have one. I'm actually very new to the term in general. I think the only thing that I probably have noticed about myself is some of the stuff that comes in, from I think different CRMs, maybe I guess I'm specifically thinking of phones or whatever. A lot of them I don't read, right? Because you get so many of the automated and it's like a robot. And I think the point that Hector made with keeping it real, it's not just an AI guy sending you a text message, it's more of a personal thing. I think would be a huge part for me to make sure that that would actually happen.
Yeah, and to that point, James, the way that I would use this technology, of course, you're going to get the automated text and the email, but internally send a reminder to say, hey, I'm the sales rep that should be visiting James' account. I should go see him this month. It's
Right.
been 30 days since I've seen James's business. I need to go see him, bring him a cup of coffee, right? And so internally, you could build that in for your team to ensure your sales or your touch point individuals are going out there, right? And keeping the human element alive.
And I guess, yeah, I'm thinking even just a follow-up text on an estimate or a proposal that went out, anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like those would be those elements that you could certainly leverage to help, keep it human, keep it real, and still drive what the critical message of the CRM that I've said from the start was trust. Build trust. Build it so that you can have a long-term relationship and customer base.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something I'm very new to that, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you chiming in on that. So, James, now I'm just going to put you on the spot since, kind of a little bit new to this conversation. Was there anything on tonight's call that just kind of stood out as kind of a real aha moment for you on the subject of CRM that would kind of push you in the direction of going for it?
I think I would need a little bit more research. I think you asked one of the questions I had was how do I know which one's the best one to go with? Yeah, I think I'd be curious to see how user friendly it would be and how easy it is to implement. I guess price is part of it. So, but
All right. Well, I encourage you to get on the community after the call or sometime soon and touch base with Willie, and I'm sure he'll spend some time with you.
perfect.
I
Thanks.
think we have Abe popping in.
Yes, I just have one thing. I mentioned in the beginning of the call that I was a DJI Agris sprayer drone dealer now. And the company I set up through monitor everything. And then I get an email saying, Abe, someone in your area is searching for these drones and looking for some more info. And then I will get the phone number. I will get all the info from that individual. And then I'll make a call out, see if he's interested or how serious he is. And then I put that in the email with the program. And then my boss or my supplier sees exactly, is he interested? Is he serious? Is he considering a down payment already? And to me, that was something new, and it sounds very similar to what you guys have been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. That hits on a lot of that from the ability to make the touch point, ensure that it's going to go as expected, to then growing, right? And touching to the supplier, and it's ensuring that you have the capacity to grow, the capability to grow through through the various means there. So I think that's a great example of how you've leveraged it. And that's exactly what we're saying here tonight is, regardless of size, if you don't and aren't using a CRM today, you need to seriously go and challenge yourself to implement one. And it doesn't matter if you are the owner of the business or if you're, the general manager and running the divisions and the businesses themselves, because you're tasked with the similarly objectives, which is to grow and scale the business the right way. So that's the takeaway that I certainly want to make sure folks hear that here.
Sweet.
Yeah, and what Abe just said, like it gets the information to the right places. I was just gonna say, like, we had multiple branches, and if there was any customer complaint, I was any branch could enter that, okay, there's a customer complaint, and you can set up the system that whoever, the owner and me, I wanted to know if there was any customer complaint, I would get notification of any complaints entered. Like it's so powerful when you connect all those things together where you're gonna learn so much more about what's going on in your business if it's properly set up.
Absolutely. And then you can even learn response times. And I know I'll come back to you, Erica, because this is something that that your organization does quite well, in that it has a standing KPI on the account managers to respond within certain times, but it's all triggered based on the activity of the CRM, right?
Yep. It definitely allows us to catch them with their pants down, that's for sure. We try to aim for that 24 hours, and HubSpot is pretty good with setting it down to like the second of how slow or quick they are. So it's really helpful. It helps us keep on top of our customer service.
Yeah, perfect. Well, just want to make sure we've got enough time for everybody. But before we wrap up today, we were asked to provide what are the top ones or the ones that we'd recommend. My personal favorite, right now, is Zoho. I like Zoho because it's easy. It's very entry level from a verbiage standpoint. It's not complicated for me to follow. I certainly like Go High Level, the one that we're using here. From a price point perspective, Go High Level is like so well positioned that I can't see what to go wrong with it. For me, it's like Zoho is A1 or 1A, and the other one's like 1A2. And the third option for me would be HubSpot, but that's a little clunky. It takes a lot more time to implement. You certainly want to be very techy if HubSpot's the one you want to go for, but it's so robust and it can help you scale to some really large capacity. So that's the entry level, easy to use Zoho, bigger organization, much harder to use and implement HubSpot.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And here we are. Can you believe we've gone through an hour already? We are on the hour. We must be having a great time because it goes so fast for me. But we also, if you just itching, you have a final question or comment that you want to jump in on, now's your chance. Otherwise, we'll say, Willie, do you have any parting words or final thoughts? Hector, do you have any parting words or final thoughts? And are you leaving us with a challenge today?
Yeah. Well, before I do, I want to check on last week's challenge. Right? I want to understand those that came in and had some time to go and create their vision and put together some vision goals and objectives. So, James, you were here last week. Let's pick on you, my friend. How'd you do with your vision?
So I haven't done anything on the personal one, but I did recap on the one that me and Willie did when I was coaching together with him on the company side. So yeah, definitely revisited that idea.
Okay, cool. We'll give you a 50% mark on it because you did 50% of it.
There you go.
All right. This is where you get my accountability, coming on strong here. So who else was on last week? Let's go. Peter, you were here last week.
I haven't done a whole lot from last week.
No, okay.
Yeah. I
Well, Peter,
appreciate it though.
all right, we got to get you working on it. All right, that's a 0%. So we can't have that, right? We're doers, we're leaders here. So we
That's
got to
right.
make sure we got to get it done, right? Mike, I can't remember if you were on last week or did you escape last week? You were golfing. Oh, you're muted.
I wasn't here last week.
All right. Okay.
I
I don't
got
know
off the hook.
I think we're missing a few. Cecilia was here last week. I can't remember who else was, right? But okay, we got a few that are not here.
Unfortunately, I got to take a big fat zero for myself too, so you'll have to spank me.
Oh,
Keep
Al,
spanking.
come on, Al. Come on, we got to do better than that, right? We got to build. It starts with us as leaders, right?
Yeah, I'll see you in the community. I'm doing it this week. I'm doing
There
it.
we go. Cool. All right, good. Well, here's the challenge for this week. Okay, we're gonna come to you again. Next time. We're gonna ask you to audit your organization and find out do you have a CRM? That's an easy one. Most of you will be able to say yes or no right away. But then go and investigate a CRM that's going to enable you to implement and add value to your organization. And report back what were your findings on the CRM. Why did you like it? And why you would go and implement it. Very simple. Do you have one? And go do your research on the one that you would choose to implement.
Sweet. Now, Willie, I'm going to put you on the spot then because I know that you send out, I think that you're kind of the instigator behind the emails and the text messages that go out from the platform, from the community. Are you able to send out a bit of maybe a reminder after tonight? I'll say, hey, here's the challenge and remind us to go do that and then where to go do it at?
Yeah, I can definitely do that in the community, but a lot of the contacts are not in the community yet. And so I was going to say, whoever is interested in joining us on a regular basis here, what we're doing, you just send me a message and I'll send you a link where to go. And we would love to have you join us on a weekly basis here and in the community. For those that don't know, there's a lot more in there about some online courses, leadership teaching courses, and then also a lot of different tools and frameworks that we're starting to upload in the system. So,
Beautiful.
Yeah, a little bit more
Leave
about
us-
what we're doing there.
Leave us give us your email address and your telephone number that we can text you at.
Sounds good.
No, what is it? Tell us.
What is it? Well, he's asking for you. If you could-
Oh, yeah, my phone number is 780-625-2153.
And your email.
And email willie@willieschmidt.com.
Geez, I should have been able to figure that one out. Really. Yeah.
There you
All right,
go.
then I
That's,
think we're good to go. Hector, last
yeah,
word.
that's it. That's it. Inviting everybody again to the community. All of these calls are recorded. They're all available in the community. So even if it's today's day one and you want to go back 3 months from when we started, they're all there. Easy to listen to. Actually, we are thinking about putting these in a podcast format. So whether you're driving or at the gym or on a plane, you're able to hear them and listen to them versus having to watch them. So that is coming out soon. I know Willie and team are working on that.
And I can vouch to say that every course I have taken on the platform, which is all of them except one, is top notch, right on the money, down the middle of the bullseye. Excellent content.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll leave it there and enjoy your night.
Awesome.
See you next
Thanks.
week, y'all.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.